We are back. My GOAT Alex P is champion again. Now that order has been restored, now that the UFC has been saved, it's time to make big moves, okay? Because Alex P winning just opened up some huge potential matchups for the UFC. And I'm gonna go over all of them in this video. Starting off with my favorite, Shamil the Blob Gaziev versus Alex P at the White House. The man that made Jones retire and the man that Aspinall is currently ducking. No, I'm joking. I want Alex P versus Tom Aspinall at the White House. It's an absolutely sick fight. The best heavyweight in the world versus the best light heavyweight in the world. Both have crazy knockout power, and Alex Pereira gets the chance to become the first fighter to hold a belt in 3 different weight classes. And that's pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie. And I honestly think this fight is more competitive than people think. Alex Pereira would be the best striker that Aspinall has faced outside of training with Rico Verhoeven. And Alex Pereira is gonna have that ladder man skill times 2. Double ladder man skill. I just might pick Pereira off that. Now I'm joking. Obviously Tom is a very scary fight for anyone, but especially for Pereira, because he's shown to have trouble against speed maxers with good boxing in the past. And Aspinall is so fast for a heavyweight, and unlike Lou Ank and Khalil Roundtree, Aspinall just has that different power, and he also has his grappling as well, although Pereira has become a very good defensive grappler. And just off that, I'm kinda leaning more towards Aspinall in a potential fight, but he doesn't tuck his shin, and he uses a lot of blitzes, so if Pereira is able to time it with a counter, he could definitely put his lights out. And Pereira also has his leg kicks, which I think would be crucial when it comes to limiting Aspinall's movement, so I believe this is actually quite a competitive fight. But now let's move on to another option, which is Alex P versus Jon Jones. And I think this is probably the one we're gonna get, because Alex P called him out, and it seems like the UFC is pushing for it too, the way Shale and DC are yapping about it. And Dana White also got asked about Alex P at heavyweight, and he said Alex P was a former middleweight, so he didn't really know how he felt about it. And to be honest, compared to Aspinall versus Pereira, I don't really like this fight that much, especially when you consider that he just straight up ducked Aspinall. But I guess the only positives are Jon Jones is a bigger name than Aspinall, he's American, and you kinda want an American to headline the White House card. And I also think Pereira would sleep him too, because he's a way better striker. Jones has nothing to offer on the feet except eye pokes and some teeps. Bars, by the way. If you're getting outstruck by Reyes, Alex is knocking you out, plain and simple. And I trust in Pereira's ability to defend takedowns and survive on the ground if he gets taken down. So the possibility of seeing Jones out cold is pretty intriguing. However, I think the Aspinall fight is just bigger for the sport in my opinion. It's for a third belt. It's against the current heavyweight champion. It's against the man that literally made Jon Jones retire out of fear. And to have Jon Jones duck Aspinall for 2 years, then retire, then come back in a super fight against Alex, just isn't a good look for the sport, man. I understand the casual still thinks he's him. Oh, Jon Jones the baddest man on the planet. He's the GOAT, man. But they don't know he was ducking Aspinall for 2 years straight. They don't even know who Aspinall is. However, the actual fans of the sport, they know the whole Jones versus Aspinall story, okay? And they're much more excited to see the Aspinall fight, because that's truly a fight between the 2 baddest men on the planet, and the winner's probably guaranteed to stick around. And it's just much more beneficial to the UFC to have an active superstar, because if Jones wins, he's not fighting again, because we know he's not gonna fight Aspinall. We know that, okay? But I can't lie though, I would still be excited to see this fight, just because of the fact that I think Jones would get slipped. But let's move on to the next matchup, and that is Cyril Gane versus Alex P. And Cyril Gane is of course fighting Aspinall for the belt in like 2 weeks, and although I don't think he will, if he beats Aspinall, there's of course no point in making Alex P versus Aspinall, because it wouldn't be for a belt. And if they for some reason wouldn't be able to get the Jones fight, maybe because they just can't trust Jones anymore, I think this should be the third option. Alex P still gets the chance to get his third belt, and I'll be real, I think Alex P would get it done, man. Gane is good on the feet, he's very fast for a heavyweight. However, he doesn't really have that much power, and his boxing isn't really that good either. His main weapons are his kicks and his movement, and the kicks could cause some problems, specifically the teep, since Alex stands pretty square. But Alex has the calf kicks, which could be used to limit Gane's movement, and although Gane is a southpaw, he can still go to the outside and even to the inside like he did against Ankalaev. Because if you look at how Gane moves, he likes to circle to the left of his opponent in order to avoid the right hand and the right kick, and that's just really bad because he's gonna be running into Pereira's deadly left hook, and this happens a lot in his fights too actually. You can look back at the Spivak fight for example, and obviously Pereira's gonna pick up on this and sleep gone with his left hook. So as an Alex Pereira glazer, I'm a very big fan of this fight. But let's move on to the final matchup, and that is Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg. And this is the fight you make if everything else in this video just doesn't work out for some bizarre reason. Because it would be such a missed opportunity if the UFC chose to make this instead of, for example, Alex Pereira versus Aspinall or Jones. Because we're finally in a position where we can have Pereira move up for a super fight at heavyweight or against John Jones. And are we really gonna risk that for an Ulberg fight? And I'm not saying I'm scared of Ulberg beating him. There's always a risk, right? And if he does beat him somehow, that opportunity is now gone. And that's really why I don't like this fight that much. Now that said, I still think Pereira would beat him. Ulberg isn't really that good of a boxer. He stands pretty bladed too, so it's gonna be easy for Pereira to land his calf kicks. And he won't really have any fear of being taken down in this fight. So I think Pereira is gonna be on the front foot for the most part, chipping away at his leg with calf kicks and eventually just catching Ulberg. And I understand Ulberg can cause some problems with his speed, but Pereira's calf kicks over time is gonna limit that, and Pereira's just a better boxer than him too, so I'd pick Pereira by KO. But in conclusion, you make the Aspinall fight if he defeats Gane. If Aspinall loses the Gane, you make Pereira versus Jones. And if for some reason Jones doesn't want to come back, you make Pereira versus Gane. And if that for some bizarre reason doesn't work out, you make Pereira versus Ulberg as a last resort. But Alex P versus Aspinall is the fight we want, okay? He walks around at 240 in the offseason and he's the same height as Jones, plus ladderman skill is real. But enough yap for today, guys. I made 2 more in-depth breakdowns of Pereira versus Tom and Pereira versus Jones. Go check it out. But anyways, leave a like and subscribe for some of the best yap on MMA YouTube. Am I just an Alex Pereira glazer, or do you agree with me? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and also don't forget to share this to every Alex P fan you know, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!